Training camp's finally over. It was a hot one out there. It was a long one. How excited are you finally the season's here?
I'm so excited, man. Cincinnati, the city overall has been amazing since I signed here, man. Training camp, as you said, was very hot, but just a ton of work, man. A lot of competition. We got a really good football team. I'm excited to get to work on Sunday.
All right, let's break a few things down. Next week we got film to break down. Yep. This week I want to break down this guy right here, Frank Pollock.
Absolutely.
He's an interesting character. Love interviewing him because you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. Tell me about Frank Pollock.
Frank Pollock is awesome, man. Since I signed here, he's been able to allow me to just go out there and be myself. And, you know, he does a really good job giving me tidbits here and there as a pro I am, allowing me to implement those things into my game. He's worked with some of the best, you know what I mean, ever played a game. Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, the center in Dallas. I mean, he's top of the line. You know, he's been a really, really big part of my success throughout this offseason, man. I can't wait to be able to show the work that we've been putting in. And, you know, he's a really, really big part of that for me. So.
Do you have a good Frank Pollock-ism that's your favorite to go to?
Man, I think my favorite thing he says, let's master the mundane. And simply put, mastering, keeping it simple, mastering what we do, whether that be our footwork, our hand placement, our base. I mean, mastering the mundane, that's probably my favorite thing we talk about in there.
Well, that one makes sense. I've heard some things come out of his mouth that I got kind of like, Frank, what does that mean? Yeah. Can you explain that further? Let's get into this group of guys. They call you the Big Uglies. I won't call you the Big Uglies, but the meat up front. You got a lot of. There's 4 Super Bowl rings on this line. There's a lot of experience here. Break down the guys that are next to you.
Yeah, man. Jonah Williams, man. I mean, I think this is going to be a great year for him. He's had an incredible training camp. He's done a really good job with the transition, man. Moving to right tackle. It's not easy doing that. I think he's done an amazing job up until this point, man. He's going to put some great film out there. Alex Kappa, veteran guard. One of the leaders in our room, man. Very, very outspoken about what he does, man. He knows what he's doing. I got a ton of respect for him. Ted Karras, everybody knows Teddy K, man. Shout out Cincy Hats. Get you some Cincy Hats. Ted's an awesome leader. Just got voted one of our team captains as well, man. We all know what he's about. Cordell Volson, a guy that's going to definitely take a really big jump this year, going into his second year, man. He's another guy that's had a great offseason, been really productive, and loves the game. So. That's us.
That's the guys. When you look at this Browns team, Orlando, what do you see out of them?
Yeah, I mean, man, they got a complete football team, man. And, you know, this is, in my opinion, one of the better teams they've had. Obviously, man, this is Deshaun's second year being there. Defensively, they got a new defensive coordinator. Jim Schwartz is really good. He's had a lot of success in the past, man. So I think this will be a really good football team. It's going to be a hard-fought battle on Sunday.
Now, there's some familiar faces. We were doing our research before this, and check this out.
Yeah.
At one point, in the state of Georgia, at the same time, you had Deshaun, yourself, our boy Mike Hilton, and Nick Chubb were all playing high school football at the same time.
Yeah.
Did you know about these guys when you're playing, you're coming up as a top recruit?
Yeah, man, it's crazy you say that. So in Georgia, we have this thing called defensive camp that we would do in the summers, and so it's basically like 3 days where you compete against a bunch of different teams, no matter the classification. And Deshaun Watson was at Gainesville High School, man. He tore us up. So, you know, I've seen him firsthand. Nick Chubb, we're the same. We're all 3 of us are the same high school class, so I seen them, studied a ton of film on them, you could say. And then Mike Hilton, man, you know, I mean, that's another guy that was balling down there as well.
Is it kind of crazy? I know everyone thinks they're going to go to the NFL, but you look around, you're like, we all made it. We're all the same class and we're all here.
It's crazy, man. You know what I mean? But that's Georgia football for you. You know what I mean? It's very, 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 very competitive there. So I enjoyed my time.
A lot of talent down the South. I did some time down there. I get it. We got to talk about the pass rush. You mentioned Jim Schwartz. He's known for being a pass rush guy. This guy's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. You faced him before. Break down Myles Garrett for me.
I think, man, Myles is definitely set to have a great year, man, especially in this new system. You know, I think the one thing Jim Schwartz does is he lets his guys go and eat. You look at what he did in Philadelphia in years past, just the success his defensive fronts had. I think his last year in 2020, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Derek Barnett, Vinny Curry all had great years. I think 8.5 plus sacks. So he's lets his guys eat up front. And so, you know, he's going to come in probably with a similar mindset. This guy's going to go out there and have a great year, man. I mean, this is first ballot Hall of Fame, one of the greatest DNs of my generation. So,
what makes him physically different than a lot of guys?
Yeah, I mean, you could call him an alien, man. I mean, he's got a crazy way of bending. He's got a crazy way of moving. His body, his hips, his ankle flexibility, all the weird stuff. You know what I mean? But I mean, he's a special talent, man. I'm excited to compete against him on Sunday.
Sure, you could stop watching now, but let's be honest, you want to see more. So click some of those links, or better yet, go ahead and tap subscribe. That way you'll catch more content from Local 12.